Ikigai. Just like Sairaj, we all need to find purpose in our life, which has been linked with longer and happier lives. There are many psychological models that can aid us on our path to living fulfilling lives, one of which is the Japanese concept of Ikigai. Ikigai has no direct English translation but is understood to mean a reason to live or having a purpose in life. It comes from Japan, the country with the highest number of most elderly people in the world. The island of Okinawa has an average male life expectancy of 78 and an average female life expectancy of 86. According to Akiro Hasegawa, a clinical psychologist from Tokyo Eiwa University, the word gai originates from the word kai, which translates as shell. He says that in the Heian period 794 to 1185, shells were considered extremely valuable. Therefore, gai now means to have value in living. According to this concept, to find purpose in life, you have to answer 4 questions, just as Sairaj and his family did subconsciously. What do you love? What are you good at? What does the world need? What can you get paid for? Finding balance between the 4 areas may be the route to having a life that one looks forward to living. Not everybody's purpose will appear to have an impact on the course of the world at first. It could be something as simple as Sairaj's was. However, not everyone is as young as Sairaj. Harry laughed as we are edging closer to more familiar parts of Mumbai. We had just passed some expensive designer shops. If you have a lifestyle that is linked to wearing such expensive clothes, Harry pointed to the displays in the window, then it is hard to change our existing career and do what you love. At one point, I wanted to work with nature as a conservationist to protect the environment, but that would not pay well, he confessed. You do not need to give up everything or make dramatic changes to start living your purpose. Your purpose does not necessarily mean your job either, I replied. So then what do I do? I do not have any children yet, so I know that I can make time, Harry added. You have to act on 2 things. The first is love what you have to do. We all have to pay bills, maintain our lifestyle, work in the jobs we are already in. For most people, those work that we may not be passionate about is around 80% of our lives. Therefore, we might as well start loving it. Which parts of your job do you love? Focus on those parts. I suppose I like working with other colleagues on client projects, he said. Then try and focus on that, I said. The second thing is make time in life for what you love to do. Start adding conservation and the environment into your life. Explore India over weekends. Research which forests or areas need help and how best you can help. I said passionately. I did not know much about helping the environment, but he understood my point. We tend to waste our time off work by doing mundane things that bring us no satisfaction, window shopping, eating out at the same places, and so on. There is a whole world out there to explore, and many people who feel the same way. We have to take a calculated risk to start adding what we truly love to do, our ikigai, into our lives. Maybe one day what we love to do and what pays the bills can be the same if we really work on ourselves. Why worry? When things are beyond your control, there is nothing you can do. Why worry? Worry never robs tomorrow of its sorrow. It only saps today of its joy. Leo Buscaglia. One sultry evening, as I sat typing away at my laptop in my room, I received a WhatsApp message from a friend of mine. It did not look like anything out of ordinary, but it had the potential to ruin my life. However, before I elaborate, I think it is important to tell the story of WhatsApp's success for the benefit of its readers who are not familiar with how it came about. WhatsApp, as we all may know, is a free messaging and calling application that everyone can download anywhere in the world except China. It was founded by Brian Acton, a software engineer who graduated from Stanford. Acton worked at Apple first and then Yahoo for around a dozen years until in 2007 he decided to travel to South America for a year with his friend and a colleague Jan Kukum. On their return, both of them applied to Facebook and Twitter for jobs, but both were rejected. Acton tweeted in May 2009, got denied in Twitter HQ. That's okay. Would have been a long commute. A few months later, in August 2009, he followed it up with another tweet. Facebook turned me down. It was a great opportunity to connect with some fantastic people. Looking forward to life's next adventure. And his next adventure changed the world. In the same year that he got rejected on his birthday, WhatsApp was incorporated in Silicon Valley, California. The app grew exponentially, its success unparalleled, so that in 2014, Facebook decided to buy it for a staggering $19 billion. By December 2017, WhatsApp has 1.5 billion active users. Now that you have a clear picture of the reach of WhatsApp, you will be able to appreciate my concern when I tell you that it was the same app that people used to share a potentially controversial video of me which went viral. My phone buzzed. I had received a new message. A notification popped up saying I had received a video message from a friend whom I had not spoken to in years. Interesting to get a message from him. I'll read it later, I thought. I flipped my phone over. I did not want to be disturbed during my peak productive hours of the day. And another buzz. What could that be? My mind shifted to my phone again. I managed to ignore it. In hindsight, I should have just put my phone on silent mode, because for the next hour it buzzed ceaselessly. Now I had to check what the hoo-ha was about. 543108. I typed in my passcode, which has now changed for anyone wondering, and opened my WhatsApp. I saw a flood of messages drowning my homepage, some from group chats and I am part of, and many from individuals whom I had connected with over the years. The messages had one thing in common. They all contained a 3.4 MB video. To my surprise, people had sent me a video of myself. It was a clip of a joke edited out of context from one of the lectures I had given to an audience of 1,500 university students at our temple. Until then, a few videos of mine were gaining traction on YouTube, but tumbleweed gathered on my other social media platform. I played the clip. In any school in India today, after 10 years of working, do you know how much a teacher would save on average? Probably a lakh or 2 lakh rupees. I was saying, so far so good. No danger detected. I was sitting on a raised cushion in our main temple hall, animatedly speaking into the microphone. A software engineer in India today, after 10 years of working, do you know how much he will earn on an average? Probably 40 to 50 lakh rupees. Nothing controversial yet. Then I went on. An Indian politician, no, not a good one, but a corrupt one, after 10 years of earning through scams, will save around 30 to 40 crore. A few heads would turn at that statement. Corruption in politics is a sensitive issue in India. The next group I commented on which I am also a part, but not in regards to wealth, is why I started receiving furious messages. Imagine what people who are wearing this can earn. I grabbed my khadi saffron top. Most monks in India wear only saffron to represent their renunciation. One, a very spiritual man, a guru in India, his 10 years savings was 238 crore only. And another man, spiritual, a religious leader, his 10 years savings were 1177 crore only. And yet another man, again a religious leader, his saving was rupees 4,000 crore only. The crowd was silent, though it was just a joke and I wasn't referring to anyone in particular. A few people giggled, imagining whom I could have been referring to. Choose your career wisely, I exclaimed. The audience burst into rapturous laughter and applause. It echoed round the marble walls. A few students were rolling over, laughing hysterically. This video was cut short here. At first, I was thrilled that people were enjoying my talk. Human culture is such that when we please others, we feel pleased of ourselves. But when I scrolled through a few more messages on WhatsApp, it was clear that there was a mixed response. How can a saffron-clad monk like yourself say something so derogatory about India's spiritual gurus like that? One message said. I found this a little offensive, said another. Many messages express the same tone of disapproval. How unfair, I thought initially. That video was part of a broader discourse I make to make a point that we focus on earning at the expense of our learning in our professional lives. I love to entertain the crowd, but only to teach life lessons. I am more monk after all, no, not a comedian. At that point, my mind went into overdrive. What if this gets into the wrong hands? What if some spiritual gurus are offended? What if they complain to my ashram or the institution I am part of, or my guru? Will I bring shame to the community? Will I be banned from speaking in public? Will they sue me for defamation? I meant no offense to those spiritual leaders. Many of them I know personally. They are pure, sincere, and use the income they generate for constructive purpose. As messages questioning my conduct rolled in, however, I could not help but think of the worst case scenario. What if? I was not grateful for this situation at all. After my initial agitation, I became defensive. I started to prepare for the inevitable, planning in my head how I would explain this to my saffron-clad brethren. I even called one of my friends who was a lawyer to draft a statement in case litigation was